So Sonic Frontiers has been out for 2 weeks, and I think it's about time that we start discussing how this story ended, and of course wrap everything up in a nice little bow, because there were some huge segments that deepened the Sonic lore as we know it, and some exciting stuff that actually could have gone unnoticed by a lot of people. So today, I'm going to discuss the ending and how this story actually came to a close, and what the story is even about in the first place. So if you're super excited about hearing this story, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Sonic, yeah, even Sonic on Nintendo Land. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let's jump into the video. The story actually starts off before Sonic Frontiers with Knuckles' prologue, and it actually retells the events of the Master Emerald and his Echidna tribe actually trying to take the Emerald for themselves and the chaos that they ensued, obviously literally the chaos. One day, Knuckles heads up to Sky Sanctuary to check on the islands and also the Chow that inhabit it, until one day he finds the mask and remains of an old Coco and also a portal gear that he uses to jump into cyberspace. However, it actually warps him to the Starfall Islands, where there he gets swarmed by a whole bunch of ancient machines. Knuckles then finds himself face to face with Azura, one of the bosses of the Starfall Islands, and of course, yep, none other than Sage. He then finds himself imprisoned in a chamber in Ares Island, and this is how our story kind of begins before actually the main story begins. Well, this whole thing started from Dr. Eggman once again. He wanted to come to the Starfall Islands in order to obtain the different relics of the ancients in order to use them in his battle against Sonic and to get an upper hand. And to do so, he created a new AI program to aid him known as Sage. So yes, Cubot and Orbot are put to the sideline. When trying to access the cyberspace portal, yes, Dr. Eggman gets jumped by a bunch of the Guardian relics that were left behind, so he jumps in order to avoid being destroyed. Meanwhile, Sonic, Amy, and Tails are on the Tornado once again to fly off to the Starfall Islands because they are getting readings of the Chaos Emeralds there and they want to go collect and find out what's going on. Of course, like always, catastrophe breaks out and causes a portal to open to cyberspace, which sucks everybody in, trapping Tails and Amy into their own portals that Sonic has to eventually save, and Knuckles of course. Sonic finds out soon that all of these cyberspace levels are based upon memories that he had jumbled all together, and that's why various mini stages look like stages that Sonic has already completed in the past, but with only 4 different themes, such as Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and a city theme. Cyberspace portals are more than just that, and we'll find out very soon, but Sonic jumps out and is getting instructed by some mysterious voice in order to go around, collect the Chaos Emeralds, and to take out all the Titans on the various islands. Meanwhile, we learn that Dr. Eggman is unable to get out of cyberspace in the entire game. He's trying to make his way out, but the only reason he's still there is because Sage had to put him there to protect him, and now there's no way to get him out without Sonic's help that she finds out later on in the game. Sonic is still running around the islands collecting emeralds and saving his friends from their imprisonment, and also getting infected by the cages that they were imprisoned in, and you'll see what it does to him later on, but his friends are still not saved completely because they're stuck between the digital and the physical world still, so they're not really physical bodies until Sonic can find a way to save them completely. Then Sonic comes face to face with his first Titan and learns that the Titans were created by the Ancients for some reason, and they're being controlled by Sage right now. Well, technically she can't control them, but she can influence them to approach a particular target, and she has them all targeting Sonic. Sonic tries to take out the Titan by himself, but it's obviously no use because it's just too big and powerful, and Sonic will have to collect the Chaos Emeralds in order to take it out. During Sonic's adventure, he'll come across some weird creatures named the Coco, and Amy will actually be on a big duty to help them find their last meaning of life, because that's their only goal. They're the last remains of the Ancients, and they have one goal or one thing that they need to complete before they can rest, and Amy and Sonic help a lot of them meet this goal. So once this is met, the Coco can then pass on to the afterlife, and they'll fly up into the sky, leaving that symbol that we first saw in the very first Sonic Frontiers trailer. After getting 6 of the 7 emeralds and completing this stupid puzzle, Sonic can confront the Titan once again because the last emerald is on his head. You climb up his legs and body, Shadow the Colossus style, in order to get to his head and get the last emerald to go into Supersonic, and you completely wail on this guy, completely tearing him into pieces, and fly off to Ares Island in order to save Knuckles. But of course, some lasers in the sky blast the emeralds out of Sonic, and he has to collect them once again. Sonic frees Knuckles, gets corrupted some more, has some chats with Sage, and of course fights the second Titan. Sonic once again absolutely devastates this Titan in one of the best boss battles that I've fought in a very long time, and of course flies off to the last island, being Chaos Island. And yep, guess what? he gets blasted here too. But on this island, after saving Tails and getting corrupted even further, Sonic's starting to feel not so great. But there's also some really good character development here, because Tails starts telling Sonic that he always feels like he's being a burden, always being captured and needing Sonic to save him and feeling like a kid, and he needs to grow up and be on his own for a while, maybe hinting at a side spin-off game for Tails and his own story or something. But we also find out through some various flashbacks that there was a war going on from the ancients and something else that we just can't seem to see. But whatever it was kept destroying their home world multiple times and just completely blasting and killing their army. We actually get a scene showing what these ancients look like. Yeah, they're watery humanoid creatures just like Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1, which is very interesting. Now we get to see where his species come from, and it goes a lot deeper than this. Just wait on it. But you can see there is a matching Coco in each of their chests that's just floating there, obviously being their last life force. If they die, this is how they can survive still for a short while until they finish their end goal. But you can see them putting up defenses and protecting themselves from something that seems to be attacking their home world and just absolutely blasting it with giant laser blast. And their giant wall was just not enough. Sonic once again has to climb the final Titan in order to get the 7th Emerald and turn into Super Sonic once again, and just completely wails on this Titan as well. It even goes Sonic and a Black Knight on him a little bit with a sword. Now with the 3 Titans defeated, the mysterious voice tells Sonic to go to the Rhea Island and take out 6 towers. So Sonic goes to the top of each tower in order to silence it, but chaos breaks out. After silencing each tower, Sonic gets a vision as to what happened to this ancient civilization. We get a flashback showing all their spaceships leaving whatever home they were from because it was getting invaded by a mysterious force called the End. They had to do everything they could to protect the Chaos Emeralds, which originated from their home world. But the Chaos Emerald started going crazy when it sensed the Master Emerald that was on Earth. They then make Earth their new home on the Starfall Islands and start building tons of their technology in order to rebuild their civilization, such as the cyberspace portals. And we find out that these portals were simply made to keep the hopes, feelings, and dreams of all of the creatures there, and as some type of giant hard drive backup in case something were to happen to them, so that way the civilization was never forgotten. But the creature that took out their home planet was now headed for them on planet Earth, so they had to prepare quickly. So in order to be prepared this time around, they built 4 giant Titans and used the power of the Chaos Emeralds in order to empower them. These 4 Titans would do everything they can to defend the Earth from the End, while a small group of Ancients take the Emeralds and put them by the Master Emerald. So the 4 Titans, each manned by an Ancient, was able to fly into space in order to fight the End before it even reached Earth, but they weren't successful. The only thing that they could do is absorb the End into the final Titan, while the other Titans sealed it away in cyberspace. So the whole time, Sonic was being instructed by the End in order to help set it free, by taking out the Titans and obviously the 6 towers that was help keeping it imprisoned. And thanks to all the cyberspace corruption and the cages from his friends, it officially put Sonic stuck in between 2 realities. Of course, you know, the power of friendship, yeah, his friends get in a circle and able to bring him back by sacrificing their bodies temporarily until Sonic can figure out what to do with Dr. Eggman and Sage by his side. The 3 of them then have to team up in order to save the day because that final Titan is now free, and the only way to take it down is to collect the Chaos Emeralds once again, so Dr. Eggman and Sage help Sonic go to the final island, the Oranos Island, in order to collect the Emeralds one final time. Sonic will also have to play this cyberspace minigame thing where he has to shift from black and white in order to counteract the colors on the screen and to absorb their energy in order to do Mega Blast towards the enemy or boss, whatever that thing is. He's doing some coding, okay? I don't know. Of course, literally after Sonic gets 6 of the emeralds, Dr. Eggman comes in after searching that entire time and has the 7th one. And then Sonic's able to turn into Super Sonic to take out the Titan as Dr. Eggman and Sage cheer him on from the background. Sonic then can fight the final Titan Supreme. Instead of being controlled by Sage, this time it's being controlled by the End. And yeah, it's kind of a letdown for a final boss, I'm not gonna lie. For a boss with a gun this big, it should have been a lot cooler. But Sonic then eventually takes him down as Super Sonic, but the life force of the End actually escapes the robot and flies into space. Sage, seeing this, knows how dangerous this could be because they're going to attack the Earth from the outside once again. And Sage knows that the only way that she can stop it is to fly into Supreme and control the robot and fly into space with the help of Sonic. And you can even see her programming flashing between red and blue, showing her good side starting to shine through. So Sonic and Sage have to fly into space to stop the End before it tries to devour this world like it did the Ancients one. For some reason, the End formed themselves into a moon, and Sonic and Sage have to defeat it. Well, really, I feel like it was all Sage, because the only thing that we had to do to defeat this thing was play that minigame again from cyberspace, where we had to switch between dark and light energy in order to counteract whatever it was throwing at us, and of course, defeat the moon. Finally, after some blocked attacks from Sage and Sonic, Sage was able to grab Sonic and throw him towards the End in order to finally blast through it. Obviously now, with no host, the End is free once again in space, and the only way to stop it, Sage knows, is to sacrifice herself. Sage flies in to consume the blast and the rest of the End, completely wiping them out for good, but also destroying herself in the process. Sonic's friends are saved, Tails is going off on an adventure to be more of a man and on his own without relying on Sonic, and Knuckles is going back to guard the Master Emerald, and Amy, I don't know, I guess going back to flirting with Sonic. But then they all go back home, leaving Dr. Eggman back on the Starfall Islands. But looking down on Eggman, we can see that he's mourning. This wasn't just another robot creation that he made in order to serve him. This was like a piece of him. This actually kind of felt like he just lost a daughter and he saw Sage as a daughter, and we get to see a really emotional side of Eggman. And actually in some of his mementos that he left behind that you can collect, you can hear that Eggman was actually reminiscing about Maria and talks about her a lot, and actually built Sage shortly after, which might be a reason as to why he wanted to build Sage and maybe why he wanted a daughter in the first place. At the end, we see Dr. Eggman hooking up lots of his equipment to all the relics of the Ancients and was able to bring her back somehow. Now, how is this possible? Well, for one, we see this symbol on the screen, which is once again the symbol we saw when the Coco finally were able to be at rest and go up to what seemed to be their type of heaven. But maybe it's not really heaven or a resting place for them at all, but a place for their minds and memories to finally go at rest and some type of hard drive save. And this is a way for them to have their memory stored somewhere, and maybe this is how Dr. Eggman was able to access her memories. So maybe if you die on the Starfall Islands, the nearby technology will save and preserve your memories. But when Sage died, all her memory was backed up, and all Dr. Eggman had to do was access it with his equipment, which he's able to bring her back. He probably just has to create her a new body. I love how this also dives into deeper lore about the Chao and even Chaos, because now we might even know what Chaos is. We see the Ancients that were actually all figures that looked just like Chaos, just slightly different, but the question is, how did they all turn into Chao? Because we know Chaos is a form of a Chao after a Chao touched the Master Emerald. Well, this is what I think happened. So we know if a Chao touches the Master Emerald, they can turn into the creature Chaos. But somehow the Ancients devolved into what we see as the Chao. So perhaps if the Ancients touch the Master Emerald, they turn into a Chao, and if the Chao touch the Master Emerald, they turn into the Ancients. That would explain why we never seen Chaos touch the Master Emerald, because he never did revert back. He just got trapped inside of it with Takao. When the Ancients all landed here and placed the Chaos Emeralds with the Master Emerald, maybe lots of them got curious or decided to revert themselves into Chao, so that way they can just crawl around and be around the Master Emerald for the rest of their lives. So yes, I'm saying that there's a good chance that all of the Chao could be the Ancients that we see in Sonic Frontiers. Now we know the hint orb that flies around and guides Knuckles is Takao in her spirit form, able to guide Knuckles as to what she needs to show him. And she does seem to be the one to guide Knuckles to the ancient relic that Knuckles was able to find in the doorway that led him to the Starfall Islands, because maybe she sensed danger with Dr. Eggman going there and messing with the Ancients. After all, she did have a very good connection with Chaos, which in turn could have been one of the Ancients. Sonic Frontiers definitely had a very interesting story that ties deeply into the lore as we know it, and still answers a lot of things that we never knew, but also leaves a lot of questions on the table. For instance, where did the Chaos Emeralds come from and originate from? We know they came from the island that the Ancients were on, but how were they made? Who made them? It never said that the Ancients made them on their home world, but it said that they found them and used them in order to power their technology and kept them safe. And obviously, the Master Emerald was already here on Earth. Where did that come from? We really just don't know. So if you have any theories on your own or anything that you would like to add to this in the comments down below, make sure you do so, because I am so interested in your theories and hearing what you guys have to come up with. And if there's any information I missed, definitely let me know, because I'm sure there's a lot more information coming out each day. But thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying the video today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Sonic the Hedgehog and anything else Nintendo in general. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like always, I will see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.